What is up, YouTube? It's Lions Fan Express coming at you with that man-to-man press. And in today's video, we are going to wrap up our series of the top 5 players at each position, ending with safety. And I'm just really excited to just kind of give you guys my top 5 guys for this position. A lot of good players, depending on what you're trying to look for. If you're looking for a big hitter or a ball hawk safety, plenty of these guys in this draft that definitely teams should consider drafting. So with that being said, here are my top 5. At number 5, I have Jammie Robinson from Florida State. He's 5'11", 203 pounds. I watched his games against LSU in Florida, and my player comp for him is Jamal Adams. So Robinson is a sound technique player. He's fast and he's a good athlete as well. He makes some key plays, and I'm referring to the one when he blitzed off the edge and got pressure on Anthony Richardson to force a bad pass, and that ultimately sealed the win against Florida. He's a high volume tackler, and he only missed 7 tackles. He's a box safety, but he can also play the deep half. He's a very smart and instinctive player, and I really like his upside as a blitzer. I just liked his film. It just jumped off to me when I was watching him, and I think he could make an impact at the NFL level. In my opinion, he's a day 2 pick. At number 4, I have Jailyn Skinner from Boise State. Now, he's 6'4", 220 pounds, so he's definitely a bigger body safety. I watched his game against Oklahoma State, and then also when he played in the Senior Bowl. And my player comp for him is Cam Chancellor. So Skinner, he's a big body safety. He's a thumper, and he just likes to hit and make his presence known on the field. He's primarily a box safety, but he can line up deep as well. He only missed 9 tackles, but he sometimes does tackle a little high, so I like to see him, drop his, shoulder a little bit lower and get wrap up. He's a good athlete, and he has good enough side-to-side speed to cover the field. He takes good pursuit angles, and then just like the intangible he just plays with emotion. I feel like he's just a leader on that defense, and he definitely gets the best out of his teammates by playing to his potential. He isn't the best safety in this class. There's some things he has to work on, but ultimately, he has the elite skill set to be an NFL safety. And to me, I'm pretty high on him. I think he's a good value for a second or third round pick. And then at number 3, I have Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. I watched this game against Arkansas, and my player comp for him is Harrison Smith. So Johnson is an old school smash mouth safety. He will go at you and just hit you and keep hitting you. Definitely not afraid of contact whatsoever. Delivers the punishment. He's tall and he's thickly built, so he can deliver blows. He can lay the wood and cause fumbles too. He definitely causes a couple people to fumble. And he missed 13 tackles, but he's an aggressive and a willing tackler. But you like him to kind of clean up that missed tackle rate a little bit. He's got good run support, but he isn't really strong in coverage. He's definitely more of a strong safety type that would probably play closer to the box and come up to make tackles and play kind of like the flats or maybe the hook to curl. He lacks production in interceptions and pass deflections. And then, again, he kind of split time between the slot and the box, but I feel like he's more of a box safety, but he does have a little bit of versatility in that aspect. I think he's a good safety. Definitely not a coverage safety, but if you're looking for someone to come in and, lay down the wood, Antonio Johnson's definitely your guy, and I think he would be a good day 2 pick as well. At number 2, I have Chris Smith from Georgia. He's 5'10", 190 pounds. I watched his games against Oregon and Florida, and then my player comp for him is Antoine Winfield Jr. So, Chris Smith, one thing that kind of pops up when I watch this film is that he reads the quarterback's eyes when he's in zone coverage, so he's able to decipher where the ball's going to go and able to make plays on it when it's in the air. He's an aggressive tackler that wraps up, and, he takes the ball carrier to the ground, finishes his tackles. He can line up in the box or in the slot, but his primary usage will probably be as a split safety. So there's 2 safeties, and he'll probably be one of those safeties that covers one half the field. He only missed 11 tackles, and he can impact the run and pass definitely liked his film. Comes from Georgia, where there's a lot of good defensive players that are in a good system and they're coached right, and they play against really good competition as well. So really high in him, and I think that he could be a good second-round pick. And for my number one, before I give you guys that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below who you think the best safety in this class is. For me, it's Brian Branch, and it's not even close. He's 6 foot, 193 pounds, and he's from Alabama. I watched his games against Texas, Ole Miss, and then Auburn, and my player comp for him is Minkah Fitzpatrick. So he's a hybrid when it comes to the position he plays. He plays a little bit between of a slot corner and an in-a-box safety. He primarily plays the hook to curl and zone coverage. So he's not really a deep half safety, but he'll definitely come up and cover like the short to more intermediate routes. He's got good instincts, and he's a really solid tackler. You don't see him missing many tackles at all. He can be used as a blitzer, coming off the edge. And one thing that he could improve on, though, is he could do a better job of getting off of blocks. I feel like sometimes, especially around the edge, he has a hard time getting off blocks. And he does kind of lack pursuit speed. He's not the fastest safety, but he does take good angles when he's pursuing ball carriers. Again, not a true deep ball safety, so he's primarily kind of like, a nickel player or maybe a slot player. So, which definitely there's going to be a role for him in the NFL 100%. But if you're looking for a guy that can line up, cover the deep half and be a really good coverage safety, that's probably not his role. He's going to be more of that, Minkah Fitzpatrick or maybe the Tyrann Mathieu kind of player, where he's just all over the place, and he's kind of like almost like a Swiss Army knife. Again, he's got actually pretty decent coverage, and he's a sure tackler. Plus, he just makes plays on defense, and he'll definitely improve a defense, right off the bat. Really like this player. Feel like he's deserving of a first-round pick. In fact, I think that he'll probably go sometime in the mid-first round. But yeah, those are my top 5 safeties. It's not an elite group, but I do think that there's definitely some good talent. And even the guys that I didn't list, there's Jordan Battle from Alabama as well. He's a good player. Sidney Brown is a ball hawk. I don't know what they're feeding the players in Illinois, but they are, for some reason, they have a knack for intercepting the ball, and he is no exception to that. And then Brandon Joseph for Notre Dame, he's also a really solid player that could, do a good job too in the NFL. So, basically that's my top 5 safeties. If you guys like the content, like these videos, it's kind of ended the top 5 series, and I'm kind of a little sad because I had to go through all these positions and just watch film, and I'm going to continue to watch film, but I really enjoyed this series. I was glad I could get you guys this information because I myself love to have as much information as I can on these players, especially going into the draft, because sometimes you don't know these players, or you don't know them on a film based level, so it's good just to have a good breakdown of it. And so yeah, we'll definitely go from there. But if you guys like the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, or think that there's any players that I'm missing out on in any of these top 5 lists, make sure you guys leave that down below. And as always, go Lions.